Hi. Hey. Hi, it's Bridget. Welcome to Above Life Channel. The purpose here is to inspire your spirit and to fill you with hope. This video is a different kind of video today on our channel. Usually we channel afterlife celebrity guests, famous people and all that. And today we're going to channel one of my spirit guides, someone I love, absolutely 100% think is a badass. And I need that. I need that encouragement. I need that connection. So instead of just not doing a video for you this week, I decided to channel one of my spirit guides and someone that you will also know or recognize. And she is historic. So you will know her, recognize her name at least. Also, I'd like to share that this is not a historic channeling. It's not going to be that kind of a vibration. I'm not going to be, verifying her life experience and all the stuff. Like it's not going to be that kind of conversation. It's going to be hey, give me some advice, please. Hey, give me some wisdom. Hey, I need some encouragement from my spiritual helpers. And I want to show you how that works. I think it's a good opportunity to do that and let you in a little bit into kind of what it's like for me, maybe encourage you then to start on your own spiritual journey and to start to use your intuition and communicate with your spiritual healing team, whoever that is. Okay. All right. So I have a lot of energy moving around me. I'm going to try to keep this succinct. Not sure that's going to happen, especially because it's a Bridgette doing the channeling, but we're going to try. So we are going to have a conversation with Joan of Arc in the afterlife. Come on in, Joan. Come on in. It's so cool because she wears pants. Like they look like yoga pants kind of. Let me just say with boots. Like she's badass. And she just kind of looks at me like, why are you like, what? And then she has a kind of this turquoise blue green. Well, it's more blue. Kind of shirt thing that's loose and open and kind of flowy and open. And then there's like a white shirt underneath it. Not girly at the time and all that kind of stuff. Just very practical and warrior-like is what I'd say. And I like it a lot. I think this is a cool vibe and look, and it makes me feel like I can identify with her. So I like that. That's how I see Saint Joan of Arc. So for some of you, she might be a saint. For some of you, she's a deity. For some of you, she's an aspect of another saint or archetypal energy. And for me, she's just Joan of Arc. And the fleur-de-lis, which I love so much, always, I'll see that as a symbol. And it's almost like a key that I know that that she's with me or I'm connecting to her. When I say I see it in my mind's eye. So like with my third eye, I see it. So, and then also another symbol for me with you is the sword. And I have one. I have a selenite sword, which selenite is a crystal that helps amplify. Here it is. It's like a dagger, but it's my little sword / dagger. Because I picture she would have had one of these, like in her boot or something. And this helps, the energy of actual crystal selenite helps you to connect better with your spirit guides. It also really detoxes and purifies the energy. You'll see a lot of these as lamps, like Himalayan rock salt is like the pink lamps, the kind of peachy pink color, salmon color. And selenite is pure, just this white color. This can shard though a bit. So if it drops or anything like that, and it can be a bit fragile, like you can scratch on it and such. So probably why it's used to carve things like this, because it's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? I know, I love it. I got this a couple months ago and it's perfect. It helps to cut cords to the past and to things in this lifetime to help you break cycles. But this reminds me of Joan as well. So I'm bringing this in because it's an alignment for me. Alignment is the energy that flows through your spine that creates a structure for you that helps you to make choices about what's best for you and what you want to receive in energetic form, in spirit guide form, and in human form. Okay. So if you're concerned about connecting with the spirits, celebrities, afterlife, whatever it is, and you're concerned about protection, selenite is a great energetic supporter to keep things pure and clean. Okay. Right. So yeah, she says, oh, very nice. I do like that. Like she wants to, I'm like, you can take it. That's fine. You can have it. It is yours anyway. You know how much I love the energy that you bring forward. It's great. It's pretty awesome. She says, oh, thank you. She says, oh, thanks. Like she's so casual, you guys. So she's personified for me, even though she's a deity. So she could have, if you tapped into her, two different levels of wisdom and knowledge. And you might see me connect with her more human form, like because I know her from lifetime. And so from past lifetime, I really am familiar with her energy. And so you might see that with me having this casual conversation with her, but you'll also feel the level up that happens with the ascension. Oftentimes you'll see that with some celebrities or very, very famous people where they hold their iconic stature and the resonance of it's almost like their own sacred geometry of what they hold with knowledge and wisdom from that point in history or time in life. And it could just be like a cultural icon or a pop culture thing, or like really strongly held by a structure like a religious institution or a people's or a culture or whatever that might be. Okay, so you'll see that. Okay. And that ascension then is a very higher evolved level of consciousness that is more light being transmitted into message and word. That's the best way I can describe it. So Joan, let's just talk. Let's just chat. She's saying, yeah, you've been doing some work, Bridge. Yeah, I have. You've been doing some work, she says. Yes, I have. Thanks for calling me out on that. She says, I didn't say what it was. I know. She says, protect what's yours. And she says, one of the messages, like she's bringing in right away, protect what's yours. It's not about fear. Do you all hear me? When Joan of Arc says, she is not saying, be afraid and they're coming to get you. It's not like that. It's not like, who's they anyway, right? Protect what's yours is more about your inside. Boundaries. Thank you. She just put it in my word. Thank you. She's like, you help me do my job, I'll help you do yours. She says, thank you. She says, you help me do my job, I will help you do yours. She says, boundaries. Protect what's yours, create boundaries inside yourself. This is inside you. She's not talking about people coming to get you. And she says the war that is being waged now is inside of you. And she says the tamping down of your fire, you're trying to really, she says, you're mixing your water and your fire, and these elements, she says, are grossly misunderstood, fire and water. And she says, they're not opposite. They are much like the symbol. Oh boy. Okay, thank you. She literally shows me a yin yang symbol. Thanks for that, Joan. Thanks, balance. You could have used a infinity sign or a lemniscate, right? You could have used that, right? But no, you had to use infinity. Did you have to use the yin yang thing? The black and the white of things? Did you have to? Did you? The balance. So water and fire are not competitors. They need each other. In relationship, they are the truest. Are you really going to? Like truest, most. I'm changing my words. I'm not going to say what she just said to me. Truest, most aligned, balancing. Oh, she's like grinding on me a little bit. I'm just going to say we're getting a little gritty. We're getting a little gravelly. She says, well, if you would talk to me in private, we wouldn't have to make this public. Okay, Joan. Okay. This is how my spirit team sometimes talks to me. And do you know why? Because I can handle it. I can handle it. All right. So fire and water, the elements. Can you talk more about that? And she says, God-fearing people. There are two problems with this. God and fear. She says, God is love. God is love. And she's showing me that the balancing of the heart in our bodies is the balancing of the water and the fire. So when a lot of people, it's kind of commonly known, it's not always the case for everyone energetically, but it's commonly known that the heart is a place of emotion. and emotion is connected to love. I can't even talk because I'm skipping ahead because I'm feeling so much. There's so much coming in. Water is connected to the heart space, oftentimes, not all the time for everybody, but oftentimes. And it's fluid and flowing and moving, and it's about emotion, feelings, right? And water can be considered very feminine energetically. And so to fire, very feminine. With the presentation or with the connectivity of being able to be a catalyst to start things by first destroying and or being used to light the way. So too, water can be powerfully harnessed for creation, to create electricity. Both of these things are catalyzing energy, she says. They're catalysts. So the fire and the water are, their combination is the heart space, which is the catalyst. And so therefore your emotions are a part, the catalyst. Yes. And I would usually say, as Bridgette, to inform you. Emotions are not your identity. They inform you. They give you information. The problem is when the emotions stay too long and they stack and stack and stack and stack and stack and stack, you sometimes come to the place where you believe that your identity is your emotion. It's not. So your classification of depression, lots of heavy emotions compounded, or anxiety, lots of fear-based dread, experiences of the future and the past fears coming together and creating a cocoon around you that is intended to protect you, but really causes you this layered effect of emotion. And me too, you guys, me too. I do both of these things. I know both of these emotions. Okay. And I know them when they stay too long. So I'm just going to say that to you. I get it. I'm not trying to in your face about what you should or shouldn't do, but I'm giving you intel with Joan of Arc to tell you that when emotions are layered, they crush you. They crush you. She's saying you move with fewer. You're more agile if you have fewer people around you to move. You're more hidden. You're more covert. And okay, so what do you mean? What are you talking about? So we're just talking about layers of emotions. And she's saying having your back, like having your back. You will not have armies of people that are loyal to you. That is a myth. She said, you will have a few that have your back. So when you move through your emotions and you share that, like this intimacy, like you, and I say intimacy, she says you confide in confidence. You take a few into your confidence, and then you, about this strategy or about this concern that you have, whatever it might be, the concern to then create the strategy, the balancing, the yin yang, right? The problem, the solution. And in the center point is the heart base where you do a check-in. And she says, and the people that you bring into your confidence, the few, not the many, will then all together stand, and you then together will move forward and lead. And she says, so too, the emotions can be like this. They can be like your confidants, but do not make them your identity. They are separate from you. They are only meant to inform you and to give you support so that you can then, she says, step into this heart-based space, move into the mind, step ahead with the divine energetics of like the crown chakra, divine feminine, divine energy, God, goddess, all of the universal knowing and consciousness. Then you, from the heart, you step forward into the implementation stage or the strategy of how you're going to live life. And she says, you do this with every decision you make. You balance the fire water, you connect into your heart space, you gather the energy of what are your confidants energetically regarding what the pieces of what the key themes of your feelings and emotions are, and then you present that to the mind area, not through the mind, but to the mind space, which is, she says, your head above your head. Thank you. She's like the space above your head. So you go into your brain, the thoughts, because you've been using the thoughts in order to identify that. And she's like, I keep saying 6. You are the 7th. She says, you are 7. There's 3 and 3, each side, the balancing factor, the fire, the water. And then she says, what those emotions represent, the theme of them. And then you step forward up into the mind above the regular human mind. That's where the thoughts are, but you do not stay there. You pass through this space from the heart. You pass through this space into the divine mind, or the oneness of universal or cosmic consciousness is how I would describe it. Okay. Okay. Very good. Okay. Let me take a breath. I see a ton of blue with you. Why do I see so much blue with you? And I really like, okay, so she has these pants on. They're like kind of okay, so do you know the Carhartt color? Do you know what I'm talking about when I say that? It's kind of like a camel color or a canvas color. I hate it when people say camel colored. I'm like, it's like canvas. You know what I'm talking about? Like camel or that canvas pants, like that, like Carhartt color, that branded color. She has pants on like that, but they're tight, like yoga pants, which I'm so down for. And then she has boots on. And inside one of her boots, she has this. And when I see the fleur de lis, I connect with her. That's almost like her little key to say, hey, I'm here with you, Bridgette. So the fleur de lis and the little dagger or the sword reminds me of Joan of Arc. And it kind of gives me that, oh, I'm here with you. I'm here with you. I'm just sharing that with you because you might have those symbols or metaphoric kind of imagery things. Like maybe it's daisies or something that reminds you of that person in the afterlife that you know, or it reminds you of that spirit guide, that kind of thing. So just sharing that with you so you know how you can connect for yourself. So, and then she has this really gorgeous blue shirt on and it's kind of flowy and underneath it is a white, like puffy arm, like peasant top thing, but it's very gender neutral. And I really super love that. And I dig that. Like, that's how she always has come to me, much more masculine, presenting at that time. And I super respect that. I totally love that. We just so click that way. And then there's this like blue kind of overlay shirt over the top of it kind of, but it only kind of comes down a little bit. Just, it's not a vest, but it kind of looks like it might be, but it's not. It's almost just like this overlay thing. I don't know what the deal with that is. And then, but it's not a bright blue. It's more of a, almost like a, not quite a cornflower blue. It's more of a little bit of a blue green. It kind of has more green in it, but it's definitely blue, which is cool because to me, that's a very priestess color. That's a very divine feminine, very leaderful color. I love that vibe. Plus it's also third eye mixed with the throat, which means you're communicating effectively, speaking and seeing. So you have a voice and you're seen. You're seen and you have a voice. Yeah, right. Interesting. Do you have any, I'm just looking at the time here. Do you have any specific advice or advisement when a person is really working through, like, how do I ask this question? When you're faced with adversity and challenging times within your own life, your own self, and it's not necessarily like something's being done to you or somebody's causing a problem, like it's not an abusive scenario or a trauma situation, but it's through your own inner evolution that you then have this hardship or this challenging time wherein then, like, okay, because you were this woman leading this huge army of men, how do you balance that? Like who you are at your core and the body that you have, knowing that there are these preconceived notions about what society expects. Okay, that's a lot of question. Okay. How do you be yourself, even in an environment where that's not acceptable or normal? How do you do that? And deal with that yourself. You know what I mean? Like how did you handle that inside of you? Like not all the things you did to have everybody get on board with you, but how did you handle that yourself as you were young and a woman in a man's world? Like, how did you handle that? She says to me, I was the bad guy, right? Like I was presumed at first to be the problem. And she says, like many women, the problem. Until you're not. Okay. You're the problem until you're not. And then she says, until you're the only option. And then she says, it's like the right place, the right time. She says, really, truly divine guidance. If you are divinely guided, she says, your mind will always question and doubt you. That will never go away. She says, your brain questions and doubts you. She says, I questioned and doubt myself. Yes. But she says, in my body, in my blood, I knew what I was created for. I knew what I had to do. I knew what I was being called to do. I knew what God wanted me to do. I knew. And it's like this true north energetic is what she's showing me. Like I knew, like, how would you not, whoops, sorry. Sorry, just a reminder that I have session in a little bit. So I got to wrap it up in like 10 minutes. This is going on. I didn't expect to do this, but I was inspired to do it now. So how, okay, so she says, how could you say no? Like how, she said, what is life if not to be fully lived? She says, if you knew you could really change someone's life, you could save millions of people. You had the possibility of truly helping an unbelievable amount of people. Would you not do it? How could you not? She says, so inside your body, she says, you always know what is right for you. And regardless, like she's saying, it doesn't matter who's outside of you, what your body type is, being a woman in a man's world, whatever. She said, how old you are, what state of life you're in, it doesn't matter. It's what is guiding you. And she said, the purest divine guidance. She says, if you have that, if you can be with that, if that is in your body and you feel that as just such a part of who you are, she says, then you just move from that. You just move from that. Then there's no other choice for you but to do that, to follow where you're led and how you're inspired to move through the world. Like that's, you just do that. You just do that. She said, you just do that. I didn't set out to be some hero or a savior or a saint or any, she's like, I didn't set out for that. I just set out to be in service. And she said, and I'm like, you are so brave. You are so courageous and like a badass warrior. And she says, it looks that way, but I have feelings too, just like you as a person. And my mind would try to do the thing that some of you, I'm sure, do. And she's like saying, do the thing, Bridgette, that says, who am I to do this? Why do I think I'm so special? Like imposter syndrome kind of vibe, or am I enough? And she says, in my human body, I could never be enough. In my embodied divine guidance, I was absolutely right place, right time, right person. And she says, so you just, you go when you're where you're called. She's like, I was called. I was called into service. She's like, it never occurred to me to say no, she says. It never occurred to me to say no. Never in a million years, it never occurred to her to say no. That's just profound to me. So it almost feels like the head and the body, or the head and the heart, are kind of like, kind of fighting, but the body knows the truth, what is in alignment. And the body, from what you're saying, is holding the divine guidance. I know this, you guys. Let me tell you, Above Life Channel viewers, listen to me. This is part of the work that I've been doing over the past year and a half, if not longer, to be embodied, to understand what that means. And it means a lot, because look at all the people that have dis-ease and challenges, and the way we treat our bodies is so, not even just physically, but emotionally, the way we abuse our bodies by carrying such heavy loads that aren't even ours. The emotions of the depression and the anxiety comes from other traumas and other people's energies that we misunderstand as our own. And we think that we're a piece of crap, and really we're not. Okay. Like we don't have this capacity. So therefore we're not good enough, but that's not true. That's not true. That's just how the weight of the world feels. But the world inside you, the universe inside you, is held with this beautiful voice of you and your essence and your presence. And it's wrapped in this embodiment, this body of you. And it's so beautiful because you're manifested God on earth. That's what you are. You are a manifested piece of the sun that shines, and you can't see it because there's been so many things in your lifetime that step in. And then your mind reminds you of all the things you're not, because it wants you to stay safe and not go out into the battlefield and die for your purpose or your cause, But instead, people are dying, souls of human people of all ages are dying because they're so sad. And they're so depressed that they think that the only way to feel better is to get out of this lifetime. Okay. So when she's talking about we're fighting a war in ourselves, that's what she's talking about. The inner wars here. Okay. Stop the fighting. You think the wars globally and stuff are a problem? Embodiment. Embodiment is the way. I'm telling you, I know this. I'm working on this in my work, my personal work, last year and a half, and into the future, helping other people as well. I'm not talking about exercise or diet. I'm talking about feeling energetically and knowing how much you are love. You are. And there's so much capacity. And when you realize that, it's like, whoa, there's no stopping you then. In good, beautiful, profound, amazing ways, just like Joan of Arc. So this is Bridgette with my good friend, my buddy, Saint Joan of Arc. Are you going to come in? She's like, yeah, let's do a selfie. I'm like, okay, come on in, get really close. Oh my God. Okay, so she's gorgeous too, let me just say. She's beautiful. So you could be intimidated by her unless you know her. And when she has her hair up, you can't really, she hides it, she wraps it all up in a big knot, Okay. She's like, okay. Just the hair. Okay. All right. So Saint Joan of Arc, here you go. She's like, you don't have to call me Saint Bridgette. Okay. All right. She's like, I'm going to call you Saint Bridgette. No, you're not. Bridie. She says, Bridie, French and Irish we got going on here. A bit. Okay. All right, Above Life channel. This has been a unique channel. Okay, now go. Scoot. You might be able to come into my session actually, because the woman that I'm talking to definitely has your vibe. And she's a businessy, I think, person too, entrepreneurial. So we might bring you in and work with you just because you feel like a fit. I do private session work. Yeah, I'm an intuitive life coach. Did you know that? I am. Yes, I am. Very good at what I do, let me just say. All right. So thank you so much for watching. I hope I've inspired your spirit today with this different kind of video and encouraged you to live your life. It's your life after all, and you get to live it. And what do we say here? Just live it. Thanks for watching.